We're actually not doing Melee on me today. Instead, I will be doing some match analysis today. I apologize to everybody that wanted to see Melee on me. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Most upsetting.
So yeah, I'm gonna just go over some key concepts. I feel that a lot of people miss out on, especially mid-level players, even high-level players. So we're gonna go over the concept of Sheik. This isn't exactly 0 to hero, but there are some concepts that I want to go over here that so I just want to talk about zoning, and a lot of the way you win matches actually is not from really choosing the right move at close range, but setting yourself up for success. So I'm going to go over a few things here. I think if you follow along, you'll hopefully, by the end of this video with Sokka in particular, we can kind of take a step back and really think about things before they happen. So a lot of the matchup between Sheik and Peach, actually, you know, the victory comes 3 to 4 seconds after, even before the interaction happens. And if you're good at setting up the interactions that are favorable for you, then chances are you'll be a lot more successful in setting up hits and setting up really good position for yourself. So let me just test out a few tools. Got my zoom it tool here. And so basic principles, I'm going to yeah, I look hella weird. Appreciate it, Scuba effing Steve. My webcam always has issues. I just can't figure out why. I eventually want to get a better camera. That's one of the first things I would want. So let me adjust my camera. I look a little weird. Okay, so zoning principles, I'm going to go through this as Sheik because that's the character I know the best. And if we're playing ground footsies, so I want to just say, let's say Sheik is here and not up in the platform, and Peach is here. Part of understanding a matchup is just understanding ranges. Here, and if we really look at zoning principles, so if Peach is stationary, her max hitbox goes as far as here, and then she has a dash attack that gets right about here, and then everything around this bubble is pretty good for Peach, mainly because those Nair hitboxes and short hop aerials are really strong overall. And so as a result, you really want to understand that in this matchup, if you play it to the best of your ability, you can actually force a non-interactive matchup in the sense that Peach really has to overextend to reach Sheik. So if we look at effective range here, let me go ahead and get rid of that range box.
Well, of course,
play
that's
lane,
the most
that's
surprising.
the way you do it.
So if we look here, right, there's many components to this matchup, and a lot of it is setup, and I'm really going to emphasize that. So if we're even looking here, so there's multiple phases to the match, and it really depends on your distances and whether or not Peach has a turnip. So if we're playing the long range distance game where we really can't throw a hitbox that will hit, and if we threw out a hitbox between the two characters, then and if we whiff, if they were able to punish us, then it's kind of like a mini tug of war where we're not actually committing, but we want to threaten at the very least to try to make the other person, you know, throw out a hitbox first. That's a lot of Sheik Peach. So in this phase of the match, if Peach does not have a turnip, I am staying like right about this distance here. And the reason why that distance is strategic is that as soon as I see this come out as a graphic indicator, like whether I hear the turnip pull, I'm throwing a needle immediately when I see that. And so I'm staying at a distance where I can just react needle. Because what happens is, if you play too far back, let's say we're like all the way back here, our needle doesn't reach Peach. And what that does for Peach is now you have these hitboxes of Peach that go this far. Now if she decides to like full hop or short hop and throw that turnip, her range effectively doubles. So if we want to do everything that we can that she can't play the lottery and get those turnips. So that's the first thing. Now if we are like here and she has a turnip, we have to respect it. Because she could just throw it at us for free. And the best case scenario is we deflect it and we take 0 damage. Sometimes you could catch it, but pretty much you're putting yourself in a position now that she has a decent option to hit you. So as soon as she grabs a turnip, most of the time they will either A, throw it at you, or they will start to throw a float approach, either here or here, because they can threaten like pretty much this like little wall here, where if they're here, that turnip actually is like it's a projectile obviously, but it's a pretty low risk move that they can throw at you. Or they can stay satisfied here, and if you're far enough, they can throw a turnip, force you to block, and then grab another turnip. So that's the first phase of the match. So you want to respect the distances because the matchup changes dramatically as soon as the turnip comes up. And this is also a concept that you should apply whenever you're playing Young Link or Link. If they have a bomb, that matchup plays a lot differently than if they don't, because you have to respect the range that they have with their projectile in hand. So here, you just want to acknowledge position and zoning. Peach Sheik is like 90% zoning, and like, I don't know what the other 10% is, and just throwing out smart things, which I guess is zoning. So here, at any point, that distance here is what she covers pretty well. And even if you get here, she can just go down here and force you to shield. So if I'm ever in this spot, at most I'm kind of going slightly in, but I'm not ever going to try to go here with her turnip, because it just is such a strong advantage for her overall, where the trades don't come out very nicely. And why even risk, even taking damage? Even in this alignment, you could actually throw a needle here and poke her and force her to land, and then you take your space. So in this spot, I see that alignment. I would probably throw in a needle here to just force her to come down here, and then just stay outside of her range, and then try to slowly get in. As played, we get a little stuck here. So this is a MACD read that I specifically gave Saka Sumoto. So I actually am happy that in the beginning he used this strategy. Okay, so in this spot here, this is where basic footsies and game knowledge really comes into play, because if Peach is originally standing here and Sokka's standing here, really she could run up and grab, but like that should be really telegraphed, because her running animation to get to you into grab range is actually really slow, that you can just buffer, you can just immediately roll. But the only thing that could really happen to Sokka is the dash attack, and he wisely knew that and just waited for the shield. A lot of people are a little antsy, and generally speaking, unless the Peach convinces me that they're just going to run up and grab, like I'm holding shield at certain range, just outside their down smash range, just to see, if they're going to throw out that dash attack, because Peaches love dash attack. So really smart decision there. Gets the grab, and you get rewarded with 20%. So once again, very strong position here. So this is like, if you're a Peach main, or if you're a Sheik main, this is like a really good range, because you can react to a lot here. One, if Peach jumps, you have the fair that you could throw out here immediately. So you can react to that. If he wants to go for a dash attack, you can respond with block. If they're just going to hold shield, then you could start pressuring by going for a fair. And if they're shielding, it's a really hard hitbox for them to counter. So I really love this footsie's position in particular. And also, it's important to note that forward smash with anything doesn't cover, and down smash won't hit you. So really good position overall. Once again, another dash attack, because that's the only thing that Peach can really do to like throw a hitbox to you. So another really smart grab. And a lot of the things, so this is like a really uncomfortable position, because if they throw out fair, if Peach throws out fair here, you're kind of in a mix-up that doesn't really favor you, because they can start doing the jab, they can go into a grab. Overall, like, it's a very negative, there's a very negative expected value in this spot. So what I usually do, I'm going to slow it down. Let's see if I could slow it down a bit. No. So I'm gonna hold steadfast, and as a default, I throw shield here if I'm cornered in a position where it's like pretty much like a mini checkmate. And what happens here is there's a mix-up, right? Because if MacD throws a fair here, she could jab, she can down smash, she can grab. The alternative is like Peach could wait for the roll, and dash attack backwards. But most Peaches, like 9 times out of 10 on the initial guesses, will do like either a jab, a down smash, or a grab. All three can be countered by just rolling behind. And the good thing about rolling behind here is that you get out of all three and you gain stage. So right then and there, if I get scot-free, what I'm doing here, honestly, is I'm just like running to center stage. I'm not even gonna risk, an interaction here where I can get caught by a nair, a dash attack, or if he hard reads me to go on a platform. There's no point, actually, if you're playing a character that's as slow as Peach, to even risk interactions here. Actually, so in this spot here, if we go back, this was actually very fortunate that he doesn't get caught there. But this was like an overall very bad situation, and I would just like double roll behind. So pretty good zoning. Back air, interesting. And once again, just making the tiniest mistakes. So this fair is not going to ever hit MacD. And it really puts you out of position where Peach, this is like one of the hardest positions for Peach to really deal with. They have to do something really risky, like float behind or like tournament winner. This is a really crappy position, and to take that umbrella for 1% and to allow Peach to get back for free is really bad. So in that spot, if it seems like they're going to grab the ledge as Peach, I'm just going to play back and like stand right here, and if they do anything, I'm just simply going to react to what they do. And the growing theme that you should really get out of this is that against Peach, if you're fast and you're playing on a stage like Dreamland where mobility is king, you don't have to do anything risky. Like if you want to run away, you can just run away, and Peach can't do much. This is a little bit of a spacing error, so can't really blame that, but I think the better option here, if I were to be really honest, is to throw a back air so my kick goes this way, my hitbox is this way, and I don't risk this thing that if I miss, now I'm up here and MacD is underneath me. And I've always emphasized this point that if your opponent's in this 45-degree cone, give or take a few percentages, then then what happens is Peach's hitboxes are amazing. So like she can just go up, throw, if she's really good, she could do an up air into like a bunch of other hits. If it's a non-Armada Peach, then that's most likely a nair, and it may set up other hits. So generally anything that may give me a risk that I may be above Peach, I don't really like taking. Fortunately, it was only one hit. And this is like big no-no. Like I would never ever go underneath. And this is like the MACD special. What I like to do actually here, and this is just good zoning, is you know, I'm gonna go here and throw a back air as opposed to challenge here. It's really hard to win that exchange. So I like the runaway. I think he could react and punch that dash attack, but chose not to. Once again, good mobility. Good zoning. And a lot of this is actually in the dead space, right? So if we're in this space where I'm not established in this position and now we're kind of having to play the dash dance game, what I really like to do is I like to like play around like this dash dance range where I'm trying to bait either one of two things: a dash attack or for them to jump. If they jump at an inappropriate distance, then I can back air immediately. So if you're in the spot where it's a little awkward to needle, but you still want to create pressure, dash dancing in this space, just and respecting the dash attack, is probably one of the best things you could do in terms of zoning. Very low risk. They can't really throw out a hitbox that beats you or sets you up for anything. But then now they have to take a risk to like get out of the corner. Didn't prepare well at all here though. So a lot of it, I don't know if it's preemptive or so if I see this jump, either one or two things. If this is probably late, and so in this decision, I'm probably not going to fair here. I'm just going to play back a bit and respect that. And if he floats, then you know he has 5 seconds before he's forced to land, and you could punish him by landing. Good, once again, baiting the dash attack. You didn't get dash attacked once the stock, so it looks pretty good so far. So in this spot, invulnerability is like really important. And basically what I have to think is that when I'm playing invulnerability against every type of character, I have to understand like how they move and how quick they move and what route I'm going to go and what decisions I have to make. So in this spot, for her to go down here, really slow, very reactable, so I'm actually going to hold my ground here. I would honestly just go here and then see where the Peach goes. And then if Peach goes this way, then I make my route to here, here, and then I go here. If Peach goes this way or this way, then I'm just going to slowly go here, then go up. And if Peach decides to go up this way to cut me off, then I'm just running back. Like Peach can't cover the stage, and that's what sucks about Peach. So I don't know why he goes all the way here, sets up awful position, but whatever. Okay. Get yourself caught here. You get scared. No. Okay, either one of two things. As soon as I see that shield, I'm getting the hell out here. I would just jump. Instead, you get opened up on a mix-up here. Never a good position. To be honest, like you can do some fail saves here, and I honestly think the reactions and the risk reward are a lot different here. So in this spot, I might actually even roll here, because if they dash attack that spot, then I'm still center stage. I'm too high to get comboed unless I DI really awfully. and I'm taking 15 damage, but I'm trading the risk of taking 15, but I'm gaining stage. So even if I take that 15, I'm out of the corner, I'm in center stage, and that's a pretty good trade that I'm willing to make here. So a lot of this is strategic risk reward to benefit you, so you minimize like the risk of something really bad happening here. And what I would say here is that, you know, if you get hit in the spot or you get opened up, especially, you know, with your back against the stage, the corner of the stage, you're going to get off stage and you're probably going to die, because you're going to have to be on stage, and it's going to be a wash, rinse, and repeat edge guard. So I don't like the risk reward of shielding here. I would only do it if I have a hard read. Instead, I'm mostly like going to shield, roll into the center of the stage, and just avoid the confrontation that I might die. Oh, awful DI. What was that? Alright, you deal damage. 38, that's pretty good. Alright, now I feel like it's playing a little bit reckless here. Alright, so this is where I'm starting to notice maybe it's panic, excitement, but overall, I don't like these approaches anymore, especially on the second stock. It was even looking in here. Why? I would just hold my ground here and just play the ABC position. There's no reward here. You're specifically reading that he's gonna full hop, but if you miss, bam! If the peach is good, up air, back air into like a ridiculous combo. No punish here. And once again, really bad angle of approaching here. That if MagD were a little bit more patient, you're getting nicked, and it's just a setup for failure. So these high approaches are unneeded. All right. Once again, another high approach gets beat. I like that, but going here when you don't really need to, I would personally stay here. And if you see the jump here, then you can react fair if you wanted, or you can play the ground game. If you can go back to, he's probably going to throw a dash attack here. So what I would do here is, you know, just go down here, react to any potential dash attack, and if you see the jump, you fair. And if he's just going to hold shield, then you go in and you capitalize. But instead, you're at a position where you're here, magic 45-degree angles beat, he goes underneath and destroys you. Alright, that was a little reckless. So a lot of these are you shouldn't be getting hit by these. That's one. Now you're going to get opened up because you're in the corner. Good fair into grab. Careless up B there. Almost died for it. But take a lot of damage. And that, honestly, like, a lot of the ways that Sheiks lose is just by improper approaches. So if we were to replay that, good hit there. You're only at 23, but you get opened up here to 35. This was like kind of a gamble, so I wouldn't really blame you, but a lot of it was just from that bad approach there that made you lose control. Once again, even here, let's see. Yeah, we just totally lost control after that that strange fair. All right. Oh, that was kind of janky. So once again, like, you lose all mobility here. I don't actually blame it. I think that was kind of janky, the double down tilt. Here, like, I wouldn't even compete there. I would just roll the hell away. Let's see, where can I pinpoint it? So we go up here. I'm not established in any sort of good position, so as soon as I like see this like bad position, and this is something you'll see a lot, where they're gonna float in front of your shield, never good times here. I'm immediately rolling once, if not even twice. Just get out of this gamble. Once again, getting just opened up. Risky spot dodge that somehow paid off. Alright, doing the roll. Like the movement again. Once again, spacing. Alright, you see this? There's no way you can compete with an aerial here. You just the spacing's too good. I'm actually probably gonna immediately jump here as soon as I realize that he's float canceling here. No way for him to hit me if I go up here. But that's just me. So just a little bit of sloppy play. Alright, you get center stage. And to be honest, you should be reacting quicker to these turnip pulls. Actually, that one you probably couldn't have done much. So not bad. I like that very much. Good DI by MacD to actually not get hit there. Good fair. So once again, I really want to just emphasize this position here. We're just outside of dash attack range, and he's going to have to dash attack, float, shield, or run the hell away, but no direct way of him hitting you. So I really like this, and this is like the setup for so many good opportunities. Good fair there. No reason to just run in there. Good DI. Oh, you just get grabbed there. Once again, just like a lack of discipline. Once again, this is a place where you have to remember your hitboxes and you have to respect that turnip. No reason for you to compete, because the best case scenario is even if you catch this turnip or you throw whatever turnip you have, he can very easily dash attack you, and at your golden percent, that might actually be game over for you, where he gets a dash attack into like 2 more hits. Oh, that's unfortunate. If you back air there, I think you would have died. Yeah, that back air would have did you in, but not bad. I just don't like the way that the hitboxes are competing. I mean, I guess you could force a trade here, but you're playing it really close here. Where I would like to just like in general like play like one jump distance away, where if I see like any hitboxes thrown at me, I just wait for the hitbox to end and just immediately hit. But if I'm already in the space where he's like 1 hitbox away, where he doesn't really have to move, it's really scary, especially against Peach. It's an unneeded risk, I guess. I'd rather be in a position where I'm just outside his range, whether he's on the ground or whether he's in the air, and I'm just reacting to, if he throws a hitbox, then I'm going to beat it, rather than I'm going to throw a hitbox first, but it's a gamble. And you don't want to gamble against Peach. It's unneeded. So good back air. So this is just like, like all you need to do is just react and throw a hitbox. Why can't I backspace? So I actually really like this hitbox, mainly because you're like, okay, like he's in lag, back air, done. And that's how most of this matchup is played if you're playing it really well. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit hypocritical because I'm really impatient too, but Peach has a lot of weaknesses, and she often has to throw the first hitbox, and so if you put yourself in a position where you can just simply react to a hitbox and they're going to be in lag, then it's a really frustrating time for them. So I can't, for some reason my backspace isn't working anymore. So just something important to note is how they're reading your reactions off of invulnerability. And I think this is the second or third time you went straight to platform, and MacD has thrown a turnip there every time. And so this is one of those situations where I would play the bait game. It's like, okay, like this is something really important to keep in mind. Like everybody has a distinct route of escaping the 3 to 4 second invulnerability, and most people have like a distinct route of how they try to catch a person while they're in vulnerability. MacD's route has always been, I'm gonna grab a turnip, float, throw a turnip onto this platform, and cover if they jump. So what I would do here is I would fake the jump and then just immediately run into center stage. I think that's a better option, and until they show that they're going to counter that and be more preemptive that way, I think that's the way we should go. Oof, that's unfortunate. Gets MacD'd. Doesn't Shino stall? Oh, that's unfortunate. So, yeah, that's game 1. I think game 2 and game 3 get worse. So with Battlefield, same spacing principles apply. If you're going to play the platform maneuver game, you always want to be moving within the platform too. I see way too many Sheiks do this, where they're on a platform like this, and then like the Peach will go here, and Sheik will try to like throw out a fair where it's clearly going to be no good. At best, it will trade. See. So once again, discipline, knowing when you can get the hits and knowing when you can't get the hits are the most important things. I actually never like doing this from underneath the platform, so I'll explain. So here, instead, what I would do is just get center stage, 13% on a platform. Even if I get the hit, I'm most likely going to get down smashed, and so it's just really risky. I really like that center stage, but once again, approaching from a really bad angle to attack. So I establish ground. If I see the jump here, I'm actually just going to be resetting immediately. Or the other possibility is you throw out a nair and you trade, but if we really have to do that, gets hit there. So once again, getting opened up. We have to assume that they're not gonna. You have to assume with better players that they will go in if they can. So with that being said, he has float momentum this way. I'm honestly just running the hell backwards. No reason to be jumping here. So that's the one way that, like, if you're a Peach or you're like a low tier character, that's how you open them up. You find your little gap where you get underneath them, or you get underneath Sheik. And MacD has found that and opens up Sokka here. Peach's hitboxes are so good. Good grab. Use your invulnerability. Even if he spot dodges, you're not risking. Okay, so reads. This is really important. So we get a good hit here. Good hitboxes here. Good zoning. All right, so we're in our classic spot, right? Just outside of the preferred ranges here, and I land. I'm in shield because Peach isn't going to show a shield here. I'm simply going to be reacting to what Peach does in this ideal spot. Once again, this is the classic spot where they might do a desperation dash attack, they might roll, both that you can simply react to, or they're going to jump. Whoops. Ah, gosh dang it. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Let me... Alright. So you lost your ideal spot. No reason to do anything. I honestly thought as soon as you see that, MacD actually missed space that that float that you could have gotten a free 4 tilt on reaction. Once again, these flops. The imaginary 45-degree box. Why would you keep jumping? Why jump? That's like the worst jump I've ever seen. Gets opened up again. Gets caught. So risky. And once again, you get caught jumping, and it's just, these are just desperation. This is like 2012 Saka Sumoto, that throws hitboxes for no purpose. Good forward air though. So the difference between like the other forward airs is that in this, I'm not even sure if you're reacting or if you're just kind of just throwing out hitboxes, is that at least on this fair, Peach can't do a nair and she's stationary, so she can't move back here. So that's why this fair is good. But if you throw out a blind fair where they're still mobile, then like they can just react and do other things that will punish you very hard. So that's why that fair is good and the other ones aren't, even if they look very similar. Dash attacked. Not the right spacing for a dash attack. If you want a dash attack, if you want a fair, and I honestly don't really think there's a reason to keep jumping. If you're going to fair, I mean, honestly, what I would do is move a little forward and then bait the dash attack and outspace it. But I would be throwing needles here, or I'd be charging needles and forcing a jump if I were in this spot. Or if you want, you can play the dash dance game, bait the dash attack, and then profit. Yeah, these grabs are... Ooh, that was a questionable... although that's a bad spot for you overall. Yes, you get center stage. What are you going to do with it? Ooh, you get caught again. He gets underneath you. Underneath you, Saka. Risky there. Once again, this is close, but very easily, unless you're shield dropping... he can easily get underneath you. Bad zoning. That turnip though. Alright, so this was just a discipline issue. Once again, another time that MacD is going to platform, throwing a turnip and catching you. That's the like third or fourth time that's happened. I would just fake a jump, get to center stage, because MacD has been reading that jump on the platform every time. Oh, lack of discipline. But then again, I don't blame you. You already told me your mindset. Reoccurring theme, Peach keeps getting underneath you. Throwing out too many YOLO things. In this matchup, like, it's not like Fox, Falco, or Falcon where you have to throw out hitboxes to protect yourself and you kind of have to gamble. Because in the Fox and Falco matchup, if you gamble, you can get a tech chase opportunity, which, you know, will equalize your stock, especially if like Fox or Falco gets like 3 to 4 hits on you. And then you get a straight hit into a tech chase opportunity, you may end up winning out on it because you gambled. In Peach matchups, you gamble, you get 1 hit, and most of the time you're losing the exchanges. Once again, gets caught, you know, jumping. Sloppy tech skill. Show me your motorcycles. Viewers, if you guys want me to look at another match, I'll be happy to. I think the recurring theme has been realized here. The majority of MacD's hits either come from one of two things. MacD finding an opening underneath Saka for jumping too much, or Saka risking in very bad places where the Peach can clearly trade. And if we're to recap this, I guess we'll go to the end. Another tech flub. The tech flubs are a lot more evident in the last 2 stocks. Is that there are a lot of these hits that Saka seems to be winning on, but like they're very risky because it's I would say these are coin flips, and you don't want coin flips against Peach. You want clean, solid hits, and if you're really good at this matchup, you should, in theory, be getting hit like only like 15% of the time. So Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Good grab. Ooh. But once again, these full hop jumps near Peach are really scary. And he gets caught underneath, and MacD wins. So, hope you guys learned a thing or two about Peach, Sheik, and zoning for success. A lot of establishing good position is just making a conscious effort to not put yourself into bad spots. And this is something that new players won't really realize. It's very easy to play against new players, even if they're technical, to get them in the corner, to get them to jump foolishly, to get underneath, and really just put them in a position where the trade or the rock, paper, scissors or the hitboxes are really not in their favor. So they're losing even before they even know what's going on. So that's it for that match. The way that Saka was playing, there was no way that he was going to win. Eventually, MacD was just going to wait and find an opening underneath and just profit. Any character, honestly, with decent hitboxes, decent aerials, and that have like high mobility. So Fox, Marth, Falcon, Falco, like Jigs, like honestly, you can, as long as you prevent them from getting excessive turnips. A lot of it is just making Peach make the first move and not putting yourself into a bad space where they can just trade for free. Donation goal. The donation goal is really optimistic. Eventually, I would like to get married. Weddings are expensive. And yeah, wedding rings in California and rent and student loans are a nightmare. So I'm not actually expecting myself to hit $10,000, but you know, every donation would probably realistically go to that in like 2 years from now. Anyway, but once again, it's kind of like a joke. It's kind of like Mango's Lamborghini. I don't think Mango actually expects to get a Lamborghini, but it would be like a really funny goal, I guess. Alrighty, let me get a drink of water, actually. So Kira, actually, you know, I'm gonna see what Kira does and see if there's anything different, and I'll point out things. And I know that's not to put Saka on blast, because I think you mentioned to me that you're really excited to hit top 8 and you just kind of forgot to play after a certain point. And so I understand like your mindset, but I think it's overall good that that we see what not to do and what the consequences of bad spacing and bad zoning principles are. And we also have you know, a player that, you know, really prevents a lot of these free hits from happening. And so the one thing that's like difficult about dissecting top level versus top level play is that they're strategically eliminating a lot of options, so they're not giving their opponent free hits. But then when you go into the match, you may not realize the intent of why they zone a certain way, or why they give up certain options, or why they, you know, throw out certain moves. And then you try to throw out other things, and then you just get wrecked. Or you try to like follow certain things about what they do, but you may not fully understand what's going on in context that enables them to do certain things. And a lot of the way that like Mango gets his like openings, or like a lot of good players, is because they zone in a way that can, you know, allow them to make easier decisions and allows them to open up their game. So I'm gonna look at Kira and see what he does. I've never watched this matchup before. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so this is a lot of MacD-isms. Nothing happens yet, but a lot of it is, you can kind of tell even in the spots, he understands where he can hold the position. So he knows that like MacD is on platform. He can just simply wait MacD out and react to whatever he throws, whereas If we look at Sokka, he was a little bit more preemptive, and I think it's kind of like the I'm playing against Fox mindset where you kind of have to be. But, you know, if you place yourself in good positions like this, MacD has to make a move here that Dave or Kira can react to. So free hit. Unfortunate footsies. And this actually, if we were to dissect that, like why this happens, that was actually weird. It was actually really interesting defense by MacD. So sloppy stock by Dave or Kira. No L cancel. So if we like even look here, there's a lot of things that are very different. So notice how Dave likes to stay grounded, and I think that's better to do overall as a base plan. Missed an L cancel there. But even here, let me point it out exactly. A lot of Sheiks, just like myself, are a little too frantic to fair. And if we did fair there, I think most of the time we would get beat by that dash attack, which could actually combo very hard. But staying grounded and staying disciplined into not throwing out the fair, it can lead to stuff like this. And once again, this back air, Auntie's in this spot and he sees that hitbox. This is pretty much a free hit. And so if you're ever going to play the air to air game, this is just really good because you're underneath here, and this is a spot that is really hard to hit as Peach. And also in this spot you have the flexibility, and I really emphasize this for air-to-air combat. First of all, if Peach throws out something that's reactable here, then I can jump and throw a big hitbox here, and it's a free hit. But I can also jump, and let's say the Peach did not do anything, then what I could do is kind of hold on, and if I see anything, I'm immediately going to throw out that jump hitbox. If I don't see anything, then I'm just going to slowly go down, and the Peach is still stuck up there, that I can immediately do a second jump and see if she's going to do anything. And eventually, he will have to come down. That float doesn't last forever, and as long as you really well space and don't give a free hit here, a lot of Sheiks actually sometimes they just like jump here and they leave themselves open for some reason. Don't do that. Don't ever give free hits. But you always want to place yourself in a position that this is the game of chicken. This is like so let's say Sheik is here, and this is like their character body. We have this imaginary zone that we both share, right? Obviously, if either one of us jump in first, then the other player, will hit it for free. And so, but at the same time, if both characters are a standstill, then there's like a mini rock, paper, scissors here. It's, do we both wait it out? Do we jump into this imaginary hole and extend our hit, overextend if they're going to just stand there? But if I just stand here and the Peach realizes that I'm not actually going to commit to a jump and that I'm not going to react to it, then that's where the interaction comes in here, where one person may just jump into this hole and throw a hitbox here. And so that's like an imaginary rock, paper, scissors that happens very often. You can actually apply that principle to the ground game in Dash Dancing, where you have two characters, in like dead space in the middle that we can throw hitboxes in it, but if the other character is not moving, then nothing's going to happen and you're going to whiff. And then the question really comes down to, are both players baiting that dead space in the middle? Is one person going to take that space and consume it, or are both at the same time? There's many different possibilities here, and understanding when they would want to go in and when they don't will actually help you get openings here. So good clean hitbox. So the principle applies here. So he gets that one. He jumps once, realizes that nothing's going to happen, and rather than commit to a double jump, which is really risky, because even if you land this platform, the Peach can go down here, and you may be stuck in shield or something could happen. So what happens is Kira jumps once, sees that MacD's not going to come down, lands, but no risk yet, and just overall just smart play. Okay, that was a little questionable. So once again, this dead space interaction happens again, and I want to just show how often this happens. Peach up here, Sheik up here, dead space in the middle, and it really comes down to like how do you make the decision to close the gap? This is like one of the most important principles of understanding neutral and opening your opponent is, on one hand, if you're constantly threatening them by going in, then they're probably just going to take a step back, and you can take other advantages. But understanding when you can take that dead space and walk into that zone, and when you cannot, or when you can bait them to go in here first, is like how you succeed in neutral most of the time. It's just understanding like what to do with this dead space. So they both don't do anything. Once again, dead space here. Kira has most of the advantage here because of the stage, and overall Peach can't really do much here. She could try a risky turnip, which Dave should be able to punish with even just run up grab, to be honest. It's pretty laggy. Peach can jump, Peach can dash attack, but Peach is going to have to do a lot of tricks to just get out of this spot. Alright, so I got a text. Alright, let me go back a bit. So once again, this is just a good discipline in realizing that a lot of Sheiks will fade in this way. Kira double jumps, and it's a kind of a bad spot, but he reacts appropriately by not going in. Still a bad spot for him because he doesn't have stage. But overall, just like good use to try to like make Peach work as hard from a place of advantage. So uses second jump. They trade. This was actually probably one of the bad spots, and MacD did a really good job in closing the space, out zoning out Kira here. But I want to see if there's any other thing. So a lot of waiting on. Ugh. So good by MacD. I'm trying to see if there's like a more open stage where we can notice more of like Kira's doing correct. Not seeing much though. But overall, just like notice like he's staying a lot more grounded as a whole, except he's losing to stupid down smashes, and just waiting and reacting. I'm not sure if you guys really catch that, but at the worst case, he's mostly trading or winning the neutral. What's up, Sheridan? But every one of Kira's openings in general is he finds good positioning. He doesn't commit to a jump, and then he forces MacD to make the decision first. Why Kira? Ooh, sloppy. Alright, that was just sloppy. So even here, Kira finds good space to just straight out win. And one thing we saw earlier was people just straight jumping and try to throw like a nair. Kira throwing, kind of finding a better space for a back air is a lot better here. So that's a clean hit. So like even just like these 2 hits here, I'm not saying that Kira's doing a fantastic job, but non-committing, reacting to the roll, messing up the punish there though. But look at how Kira's like attacking. So good hitboxes. If Peach establishes, he's cutting him off from like this way on the aerials. How do I explain this? So actually, let me not explain it. I'm actually confusing myself right now. Actually, Kira, you're so bad. Well, why are you getting hit so much? Alright, never mind. There's little things that Kira's doing well. He's staying a lot more grounded, but playing really... So, even here, just the patience, just forcing bad decisions. So, not even trading here, but look at how he just waits and then reacts. Reacts. Clean. So, and I think a lot of people, they just, even if we were to go back here, waits, just holds his ground, waits for something to happen, and then punishes. What's up, Reeve? What's up, Shazma? Good way to just punish lag. Once again, finding good positioning and forcing their hand. See, this is like a threatening position for Sheik. Unless the Peach knows how to shield drop, waits, reacts from good position. Really preempted there. I think Dave was playing scared. Good shield grab. Good. And then this is just like, once again, not doing anything too fancy, but then just realizing like what zones he can cover really well. So if MacD, travels this route, free back air. Once again, just good zoning and forcing Peach to... He's going to be in lag. He can go down and fair and react. Unless MacD like goes this way, it's going to be pretty much a good position for Sheik. Once again, like even here, just good pre-spacing. So once again, really have to emphasize this. He jumps, realizes that he would have to commit to a second jump, and rather than do that, he goes back down. And that's something that more people need to do more of, as opposed to like YOLOing back air with double jump, losing the double jump and getting hit. Just wait it out. Even though he doesn't really convert here, I think it was just tech flubs. Like, there's one spot dodge that he could have possibly punished. And this is all set up. I mean, he's forcing an action just based on positioning here. Granted, he didn't react the proper way. I think he was just a little bit nervous. He could just for the fact that he stood here, he kind of forced MacD to nervously spot dodge and down smash. And that's honestly how you force people to do things in neutral, is you put threatening positions on your opponent, force them to do something stupid, and then punish it. Kira's a little bit reaching right now. Oh, that was so bad. Alright, good grab on the jab, and that should be death. But honestly, like, this is why like a lot of characters are low tiers, because they just simply lack mobility. And if you play a better character, like Fox can just like doesn't even have to laser camp to like beat you. He can stay in those like threatening positions and just wait for you to do something and then just stuff you and do hella damage. Like even without laser camping, the laser is just like cherry on the cake. And that's why like characters with low mobility are really bad in this game for the most part. because you can simply force bad positions on them and then just force them to do something really risky and then just punish. I think Sheridan, if you're in the chat, would agree with me that Ganon sucks. There's no reason why you should be losing to Ganon. But any slow character with limited hitboxes, honestly, the reason why they're bad is because you can just, like, you dictate the pace, you dictate the zones, and you pretty much dictate everything. So yeah. Anyway, I will go downstairs real fast. I need to get something. But if you guys want to let me know what matches I can keep going over, I'm more than happy to do that. So yeah, just post bots or mods if you guys can allow people to put links. If people can't put links, then don't know what I'm gonna do. I can just name the match and I'll look it up on YouTube. I'm gonna go to a short commercial break. I'll be back in a minute. I just need to get some stuff downstairs. Let's see. Alrighty. Alrighty. Where were we? Let's see if I could think about this match. They might be past my pedigree, but if we're dissecting characters, you have to understand what their goals are and what hitboxes achieve that goal. So with Marth, like, I think overall, MacD actually, or Mike Hayes actually profoundly like helped me out a lot in this matchup. Marth's like strong points are this. It's like a shoe. Like that's like Marth's like, if there's zones that Marth covers, it would look something like this. And so, you know, as Fox, you know, you're trying to like either stay out of this like dastardly. Staying in this spot is usually not good because you can get down tilted and you lose your mobility. So what usually happens if Fox gets stuck here is they either like dash dance and manipulate the space, or we and what will happen in these interactions is you'll see a lot of short hops here to avoid one of two things: either the dash dance grab or like the down tilt. And what happens here is, you know, if Fox, if the Marth throws out a dash attack, a down tilt or a grab, and the Fox jumps at the spot, then he earns himself a hit. And furthermore, you know, if we're in this interaction and he sees the down tilt here, then Fox can do a short hop aerial and gain access. So, but if the Fox misreads the spacing and gets caught, and the Marth ends up dash dancing away and baits the whatever the aerial maybe, then Marth wins out in that spot if he can get to that reaction. So given that a lot of this is very footsies based and dash dance heavy, So at really high levels, you really need to know how to take minor advantages, whether it is robbing your opponent's dash chance, forcing them to a corner, forcing them to shield, or straight up just winning with a good hitbox or a grab. There's so much in depth that you can go into understanding what you want to get out of dash dance, and I feel that a lot of people in general just dash dance for the sake of dash dancing. And so really, if you really want to think of the goals of dash dancing, it's either to bait your opponent throughout a hitbox and punish it, it's to gain space, it's to force them, threaten them in a non-committal way, that they have to throw out a defensive option. So the minor gains you really want are they lose stage, they lose momentum, or they get hit. Some are more severe, so if you really lose out in the dash dance game, getting grabbed or getting hit by an attack that leads to a strong combo is probably the biggest loss. The minor losses are losing your mobility, or having to roll or spot dodge, or lose your dribble, is the way I like to say it. Because that doesn't directly get you hit, but it is a path that will eventually lead you to having to make decisions. So that's like all of what this is. If I were to dissect it, PPU actually plays is really janky. Let me actually explain why. Two rolls, I mean, a lot of dashing in. And I'm guessing what Leffen tries to read is an overshoot. So, let's see. The fact that PPU went in here instead of going this way, I think Leffen was expecting him to go further back, but PPU ends up going into the stage, getting center stage, and if you see, I think Leffen's game plan was to go here and then throw out an aerial to force the shield and then punish, but PPU goes into center stage, which is pretty unusual. Rolls once, Leffen overshoots, PPU goes in, and he actually gets a minor victory here. And the reason why he wins this interaction, which seems really strange, is he decides to go in, and it forces Leffen into an awkward spot because PPU can just dash back and, yeah. Interesting. Interesting dash attack. He literally, I think the Nair is actually an interesting choice because in this position, you know, if he jump aerials, he will straight up lose. And because Leffen like kind of had to turn backwards, if Leffen went for grab or run and shine, I think the way PPU spaced it, the Nair wins. The only thing that PPU probably loses to is probably a run-up grab or a run-up shield, which will lead to a grab, but the Nair actually covers multiple options. The common thing against a run-in forceful Nair like this, to be honest, is to kind of like run away and then watch the landing and just punish them as they land. If you can get the direct dash dance grab, then that's ideal. Otherwise, when they land, you throw a hitbox at their shield and it forces them to shield and you open them up. So, interesting choice in there. The more I think about it, it's a pretty good choice. Ooh, that was pretty good. So a lot of this is actually discipline. Fox, in some aspects, is less threatening than you think. And what PP is saying to himself, honestly, is just don't get grabbed. He can give up anything but the grab. He can give up lasers, because lasers, in the way you zone out, you have to assess like what you're willing to get hit by. And if he's throwing out lasers in vulnerability, then like I'm taking 10% if that's all he's ever gonna get. So anything to prevent any possibility of getting grabbed or some hit that will like open him up is ideal. Once again, good knowledge of spacing because he loses. If we're to go back a little bit, I want to explain why like he can space that closely and when you can go up close and when you can't, because it's important. Sees the grab, right? Grab animation, no forward momentum. The max distance that he can go is this route where he full hops into this, which is really reactable, or he can short hop with forward momentum very slightly and go here with a drill, which is what a lot of foxes do. And knowing that PPU goes the closest distance without actually getting hit by a hitbox. Some people will go too deep and they get caught there and take a lot of damage because the drill will either lead to a grab or shine into a grab. So this is just good matchup knowledge, and so you really want to pay attention in the dash dance to know like how much space it can cover and how much can you get rid of. So the max distance that you can really cover is probably right about here, which PPU wisely discovers. He's not really too confident that he can get a punish, but overall, what happens as a result of him spacing well is this little reward. Is he's now going to get stuck here, and he's not going to have another hitbox. So if Leffen does something stupid like roll or spot dodge, then PPU can react and punish it. So he gets a minor gain here because he spaces well, and that's something you have to realize, that at top level play you gain minor gains from spacing well. You rarely will ever get a free hit that leads to death, and you work off of those minor gains to force tough decisions, and then you capitalize. So Leffen goes for a tough choice here. I think he wanted to just get the hell out of possibly getting opened up by a grab or something. And he narrowly clips PPU, which is kind of frustrating. Fox is stupid. Uncharacteristic of Leffen to get hit here, if I were to be honest. Once again, this is actually really questionable. Let's see where he makes the mistake here. I'm going to see why he did the things he does. So Leffen, makes a good choice here. I think PPU got a little too greedy here, going up this close. Even if he runs away, he's going to get caught. So the pre-spacing here was probably the issue. So going here was probably just a slight misspace when he goes down here. If he played a little bit back, I don't think he would have gone hit. The spot dodge was probably because he thought a grab was coming. Basically, that's probably a 50-50 scenario. Guess is wrong. Takes a lot of damage here. Jeez. I think he has a jump, but it doesn't matter. So, oh my gosh, he literally dies off of just a slight misspace here. Which is unfortunate. Good awareness by Leffen. So, this is one thing that a lot of people don't realize here, is that as soon as you see this fair, if you're in the right position, you can just react and shine, and Marth can't do anything about it. So this is something that I used to call the Silent Wolf special, or the auto special, where auto used to see this side B and just go and shine. It's free. So Fox mains, if you're ever positioned to just jump in, go off, it's really quick. Honestly, I always get confused here because it just seems a little weird that Leffen gets hit for free on this hitbox. I think it's poor It's poor pre-spacing. Gets caught here, goes on a platform. I just want to point out something here, actually. And why the Nair is actually pretty good here. So, in this spot, if you go for the traditional up air, Fox will be in a position to crotch cancel it, and then they get out of it for free. Because it's not going to be a strong hit in this situation. PPU jumps just in case left fin goes to the left. And if left fin goes to the left, then the jump at this timing window allows for him to go to the center platform and throw out either a fair or an up air to still, rack up some damage. But because left fin chooses not to tech to the left, he gets a free crotch cancel if PPU throws out the up air. And if PPU up airs here, it doesn't lead to damage. I also don't think that up tilt would have came out in time for him to connect on it. Although it would have kept left fin in shield. It may have been risky if left fin's able to shield drop off the up tilt, because I think it's going to be late. So good Nair. It leads to a little bit more damage, and PPU still has strategic positioning here. I think it was probably the most that he could have gone out of here. So Leffen gets some minor victories here to gain some space. Shields, doesn't take any damage. So let me play. So PPU is wanting to get something here. Plays a little bit back because it's like a little bit uncomfortable if Fox throws a hitbox here. And so based on Lefton's patience, it's still not the best. PPU is caught jumping here, which is unfortunate because now it leads to this spot. And one of two things has to happen here. If PPU ends up staying here, it's not really good because then Leffen's at an advantage. So PPU is forced to run away, and Leffen knows that. And because PPU has to run away, now it opens up Leffen's spacing here to this much, which is actually nuts. So Leffen is slowly gaining space, but he loses it on a dash dance grab. No fault from PPU, barely misses. Good at PPU here. So if you guys remember yesterday, I talked about MACD's deficiencies in this very scenario where the spacey is up here and you're down here. This is a place where you're going to have a lot of interactions. By a lot, I mean this is a situation that will come up very often. And what you can do is make it look nice for the Fox or Falco to come down and throw a hitbox. And if they come down, you eat them alive with just good strategic dash dance grabbing. And that's what happens here. No follow-up. But that's really... This is actually an inexcusable approach by Leffen. That's like really poor spacing. And if you were to look at this in fast mode, right, that looks like a very innocent looking Nair, right? So PP gets a grab, and we see this a lot in like low level play actually, where they like Foxes will just randomly throw a short hop aerial and hope it works because it's Fox, but like poorly spaced short hop aerials as approaches are what kills Fox. So that was really bad because now it puts Leffen in position where he has to be scared of stuff, and he has to force a shield up or a spot dodge. Basically, pretty much a 50-50 where he's gonna lose out heavily if he guesses wrong. And PP goes for the grab, misses the tipper. Another poor aerial. Alright, this is slightly sloppy by both. So, why does PP run away? So in this spot, it's always scary because Fox can just drill out, short hop drill. And so that's why you'll see PP run away. just to hope to see if he's going to bait it. But Leffen, you know, wisely doesn't throw out the short pike aerial. Instead, he jumps onto a platform, which is probably safer than getting stuck in this. Let's see. I hate when I do this. Sorry, guys. So the runaway waits, earns a little punish there. PPU misses, gets clipped. The Leffen special, bunch of up airs. And this little opening comes from Leffen, you know, getting to his spot before PPU, so that's why he's able to get that nair. Oh, that's awful. So there's something like that's like kind of going on that makes me suspicious that Leffen is not really playing well. It's the ledge play, which I think it's evident that there's something wrong with his tech skill. Once again, PPU is just winning because he's forcing Leffen into throwing out these bad aerials, so let me slow it down. Like that, or like he's reaching first, and if you're the one that's reaching for these like kind of hitboxes that probably not going to hit unless your opponent specifically run into them, you're probably not going to be winning. So that hitbox was just really just hoping that he was going to run into it. Gets punished. For some reason, PP is not punishing super well. There's a lot of grabs that led to pretty much nothing. Overall, can't say that I really blame throwing out an aerial there. You're pretty much in a crappy spot no matter what, because you're going to have to air dodge or you're going to have to up B on stage, and you're going to eventually he's just going to get on stage and up smash. So it's kind of like you're dead no matter what. Leffen making good use of ledge invincibility to force PPU to do something. All right, so I think Leffen makes a strategic adjustment here. So or later on the set, but a lot of times what Leffen's really looking for is, you know, to go in deep. So instead of PPU like running away this way, and I think Leffen's route is somewhat like go here and then eventually go for a run and shine, or maybe throw a jump nair. PPU's not really running away. He's mixing it up by just instead like blocking Leffen's path to an overshoot with getting a grab before he runs. So that's why that grab works. It seems like a janky grab, but in particular, why this grab works is that Leffen is looking for him to play a little bit more defensive, and Leffen's eyeing the overshoot by one or two routes, either running in directly or short hop aerialing to where he thinks PPU will be. So it's kind of a mini read by Leffen in terms of movement, but PPU kind of hard reads it and stuffs him in his track. So what PPU is doing in his pivot point is instead of when he dashes away here, he's coming back and cutting him off, whereas Leffen's expecting him to just keep dashing away. Good text by Leffen. So if you have like really good reactions, you can prevent punishes from happening. So if we look here, after this throw, Leffen sees Mart's feet off the ground. And if you look, if PPU manages to react and double jump and get this spot, kudos to PPU. But he recognizes that because he's committed to this jump here, it's going to be really hard for PPU to cover anything on this side. So you can actually make good use of just simply reacting and asking yourself, like, what can they cover out of this spot? And if you know that you can get a tech option that lets you escape for free, then take it. And you don't have to like preemptively guess and play this like mini rock paper scissors of I hope they don't guess right or else I take damage. There are certain situations like this one where he sees PPU's feet off the ground and that tech to the right is going to be pretty much a free escape. Okay. This is something you could do to cover many options. So in this spot, Pew Pew is going to be... Pew Pew is in a tough decision here, because if Leffen threatens a jump at this exact spacing, then he can immediately... If he doesn't see Pew Pew jump right away, then he can double jump back air, which is a free hit. So he sees the jump here, and this forces Pew Pew to jump. Now notice how Leffen just commits this single hop, one jump, and he'll land immediately. But now he's exhausted Pew Pew's double jump for free. So part of good spacing is eliminating options too. And so now Pew Pew is in a checkmate situation where the only binary situation here, to be honest, is deciding whether or not you should counter. But really good single hop up air to run Pew Pew space so that he has to jump and he has no double jump anymore. And that's how he gets that back air. Uh-oh. And that's unfortunate for Leffen. But to answer your question, Stream, I think he was trying to hard read in that tech there, because I think the way he spaces it, he would have gone a hard hit, which would have led to a lot more damage. So I think he was going for a slight read so that his rewards will be higher. Because I think if he stands on the ground, the timing window to cover everything will most likely... It would be in a way that he'd probably only get one hit, and Leffen would probably crotch cancel. And so it's kind of like he's evaluating and saying, hey, like, I might get one hit if I cover everything, but if I read the tech here and he doesn't tech to the right, then Leffen's taking a lot more damage. So that's where I think he makes a conscious decision there, to just... Because he covers three options there. He covers tech to the left, no tech, and tech in place. So it's not a bad option, but Leffen recognized that the one option he doesn't cover, he gets out for free. So yeah. I actually am curious about the FD match. I don't remember this. I don't remember how this plays out, but I'm trying to think if Pew Pew had if Pew Pew got 4 grabs or not. Because if he had Mewtwo King's like combo ability, would he have won? Is what I'm wondering from watching this FD match. So good. So this is like one of the reasons why I don't think Foxes in 2015 it's not that bad for them, because Foxes have a really good punish game on the stage as well. Gets clipped there by a dare. Good jab reset, good recognition by Leffen there. Like, it's really hard to land against Fox on the stage as Marth. Miss space. The reason why that up air misses, if we're to go back, Leffen should have gotten caught, to be honest, but I think Pew Pew here is used to the fastball trajectory and the fastball rate, so I think if he fast fell here, he would have gone the hit on Leffen, but Leffen doesn't fastball, and that's how he earns himself that back air, because he falls slower than normal speed, or what Pew Pew's expecting, and that's why Pew Pew gets hit there. Alright, so going back to the place, we talked about this with the Sokka matches, right? Just knowing when, or you can just kind of run away and reset is just so important. So he gets his one hit here, Leffen does. Levin's looking for an attack. PP doesn't do it. Leffen's like made a minor movement mistake here, and I think this is why he gets caught here in pause. And rather than Leffen trying to throw out a hitbox or do something that could get him killed, look at what Leffen does instead. He just like gets the hell out and says like, I'm not gonna risk my 0% stock getting gimped. And by him making this strategic decision just to run back to center stage is probably very positive in expected value, whereas there's probably some decent percentage chance that if he were to stay here and make a move, like he could potentially die. Anyway, PP is getting dominated here. I realize it's actually 9 o'clock and I actually kind of have to go. I hate doing that in the middle of the stream. But the one thing that we can really look at here is Leffen's knowledge of space and knowing like what he can get away with while like being threatening is probably what aspiring anybody should be looking at. And I'll show you here. He knows when he can go in and he knows when he has to stay out of range. So I want to point out just some like little things. Like this jab here is so well spaced because like PP is right here and that he's just outside of down tilt range. And so he's throwing out these jabs because if PP ever decides to run in, that jab will stop him and lead to an up smash. But he's not doing it so close that he's going to get down tilted or grabbed either. So if I were to look at these two jabs, they're actually like really good. Even though he doesn't capitalize on them, the fact that he's threatening them and not getting punished is actually really amazing. That one jab just outside of that down tilt range, so sexy. And then he does it again. Down tilt, unpunishable jab, but if PP decided to go in, that would have led to a kill. So really good. Doesn't get hit anyway. His spacing was just like perfect. Gets PP to jump in the corner. So that second jab, one jab. Now like look at how much space Leffen's earned for himself, and now like PP is stuck in the corner in a really bad spot. Questionable double jump, but it was like kind of like Leffen forced his hand. Anyway, I actually have to go, which is really sad. But let me go ahead and find another stream that we can raise.
So this is a mission where you're sent.
Thanks. Thank you guys all. 160 of you guys that are streaming. Really appreciate your support, guys. If you guys want to support the stream, donate or subscribe. You get a bunch of cool emoticons. But once again, really love every one of you guys for supporting this. We're gonna go to Bizarro Flame. So let's go ahead and raid Bizarro. I hope you guys all learned a thing or two. If you guys want me to go over some other topics today, I really want to talk about zoning and just good spacing in general that leads to better opportunities for yourself. And so I hope that in the future when you play your matches, if you're a player, that you really pay attention to how pre-spacing makes a world of difference to setting opportunities. So let's read them. And once again, thank you very much for tuning in.